Okay, next topic we have to talk about here is uh, what we call frequency. Okay, frequency is how many data values fall into each class. We've created classes, we've created these lower limits and upper limits. The textbook here is showing you the solution here um, to the example one. We want to find out from our data set how many data values from this data set fall into the first group, 59 through 114. And those are inclusive values. A value of 114 falls into the first group. A value of 115 would then fall into the second group. So we want to calculate, we want to count them up. And it's kind of, this is not a very big data set. Um, so it wouldn't be too bad, but it's a little difficult to do that when the data is not sorted. So that's one of the big advantages of transferring the data over into a Google Sheet is that this data is now sorted. We sorted it in order, and it's very easy to go through and count. So we're looking for all data values from 59 to 114. So we'll just go ahead in here and count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We jump from 100 to 130, and that does not fall into that group. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 values that fall into the first class. There we go. Nice and easy. We're going to move on to the second class, 115 to 170. So we're just going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 values fall into the second group. And we're just going to keep going with this. Now, there are ways you can count. There are different functions you can do. I believe we can do equals count A. I believe that's the function. And we could highlight. Our next group is up to from 171 to 226. So we'd go up to here. And it's just going to count how many data values are in that group. And I'll tell you there are 6 data values in that group. So that was from 171. Well, actually, we got to fix that because 170 actually fits into the previous group. So let's double check that count. 130. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we did count 8 into that last group. Now, 15. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There we go. 6 is the correct number there. So we can use that function and highlight the values, or if it's a small data set, we could just go through and count. In this case, we're going to do equals count A, parenthesis, and we're looking for values from 227 to 282. So that's going to start here at 250, and we'll highlight down through 275. And it will tell us how many values fell in there. Equals count A. Everything from 283 and above. So that's going to 283 to 338. So let's see how many we've got there. Not many, just one. And I guess from there on out, we could just count 339 to 394 is just one value. And then at the end, we've got 1, 2, 3 values. So we will have 1 and 3. And we can jump back to our, and take a look here. 5, 8, 6, 5, 2, 1, 3. So we got to double check and make sure we didn't do this quite correct. Let's take a look here. 5, 8, 6, 5 was correct. 5, 8, 6, 5. They're saying 2, 1, 3. So we're going to have to take another look here. And that was 283 to 338. They're saying should be 2. 283. 338. Do that 300. Yeah, so that should have been 2. That should have been the 300 and the 325, then the 1. Very good. Okay, so we miscounted there. So be careful with that. 58652. Now, one of the tricks you can do here to always make sure you've got your frequencies correct is you know how many data values were in your data set to start with. Okay. We know that the data represents 30 portable GPS systems. So what we could do is at the bottom of this frequency column, we could type in equals sum parentheses and highlight our frequencies and hit enter. And it will tell us that the sum of those values, I'm going to label it here, sum equals 30. So when you already know how many total data values you have, you should get a sum that is equal to that value. If we hadn't double checked and we did that sum, we would have came up with 29. We would have known we did something wrong. So that's one little trick you could use to check your frequencies.